if I had to rebuild my offer from scratch today in today's saturated market, this is exactly how I would scale it to 70K months without objection field sales calls, without ads, without viral content. And this isn't just another theory. This is a system that I've personally been refining, and it's the only model that I've found that consistently converts skeptical, low-trust buyers into high-ticket clients without burning out, without going to a full guru mode like, some people that we famously know on Instagram, on YouTube, or acting like a glorified content slave. And you're not going to hear this from any of the DM bros, yelling about volume, or the follow nerds obsessed with click-through rates, which isn't a bad thing, but because most of them are still stuck in the red ocean. They're chasing leads with tight scripts, outdated beliefs, and unique frameworks that seem unique, but they just look like everyone else's. And what I'm about to show you is actually legitimately different. It's called the Lighthouse Offer, a positioning and packaging system that blends high demand pain with an unfamiliar delivery mechanism that your market hasn't become numb to yet. And it's the only video that I've seen personally on YouTube that talks about this. And if someone else has already made it, boy, I would love you to share it, because this isn't just another recycled making your offer irresistible video. This is completely different, because if you're a coach, you're a consultant or creator or creative struggling with low ticket, low trust clients, churn from people who weren't ready, inconsistent monster and desperate outreach, and over delivery for underwhelming results, and finally sales calls that feel like uphill battles because they have so many objections, then by the end of this video, you'll walk away with a blueprint to charge more without needing new skills, attract pre-sold premium buyers who already trust your method, and consistently close 2K to 10K offers without hopping on objection-filled and annoying sales calls, because we are going to build a lean offer system that differentiates you and actually excites the market. Now watch us till the end if you're not brainrotted, and I'll show you exactly how the Lighthouse Offer is built and why once you see it, you can never go back to selling the old way. Now, before I explain the Lighthouse Offer, I must explain to you what a red ocean and a blue ocean is. So when it comes to a red ocean is, what these oceans are describing a market, the market that you operate in for your niche. So a red ocean has a highly competitive market where there's a lot of people competing against each other, a lot of ads and a lot of creators in that niche, but there's a high demand. Now what that means is that there's a lot of people who actually need a solution for their problem. So competition is only improved on by improving the existing product and service that you have. For example, a famous red ocean competitive niche are drinks. So Coca-Cola versus Pepsi, their rivalry is so infamous because those are one of the two biggest consumer drink brands that compete against each other, and so the market is highly competitive. But people love soft drinks, the demand is high. That's why every single year there's always these new drinks, energy drinks or electrolyte drinks like Prime, which I don't know actually is decent, some of them. But as you can see, the competition is high, but also the demand is just as high. Now on the other side of the spectrum is the blue ocean. It's low competition, and you have to create new demand through education, meaning that people don't even know they need it. And it captures new value for customers, but it is future oriented. Now, what that means is that people have to be educated on this market. They don't know that they actually need it until more people find out about it and gets popularized. For example, ChatGPT, the first conversational AI. And now that blue ocean, an AI that you can actually speak to, has slowly transitioned into a red ocean because there's so many other AIs out there. There's, Gemini, there's Puppy AI, and so many out like Grok AI as well. There's a lot. And so people quickly become educated in how we can operate in both of these markets is by combining the blue ocean novelty with the demand of the red ocean. And what does that create? It creates a hybrid, which I call the Lighthouse Offer. It creates a beautiful purple background and a purple ocean. So what the Lighthouse Offer does is create a low direct competition because it positions yourself very highly inside a high demand market. The reason why I say low direct competition is because you're completely differentiating yourself within the market. That's why it's low direct competition. However, there is a high indirect competition because we're operating in a saturated red ocean. So it blends the red ocean familiarity with people already being educated, and often it can mean that they're burnt out as well from previous products or services that they have bought. But it includes the blue ocean innovation. Now it reframes the existing demand with a unique mechanism, delivery or belief shift, like I've mentioned before, and it captures the attention by challenging tried and failed assumptions that people have. For example, if you have an offer that is helping someone scale their coaching business, and you remove the need for ads, the need for content, the need for a team at all, and to be a solo entrepreneur, that is novel, that is new, and that captures the attention of the buyers. For example, here, my personal one, the conversion call for coaches, titled sales calls, blending automated acquisition, so not manual acquisition, with a one-page pitch without sales calls or ads. And that's true. So what that actually looks like when it comes to systemizing this and actually practically doing it step by step comes to 5 separate steps. So the first one looks like this. So we have to start within the red ocean, and what we call red heat mapping is we're not trying to escape it, we want to operate within it. So we have to identify a saturated niche that we believe we can solve a problem for. Obviously, you need to have the expertise, the solution to do that, and if you don't have it, then you have to gradually build one, and I'll show you exactly how you can do that. So this gives you instant market awareness. You're not inventing new pain, you're just addressing it differently because people are already in pain. The reason why you go to hospitals and take medication, and the reason why there's so much money into research, is because every single year there's going to be new medication, new drugs, and new pharmaceuticals released to address the same pain, but in a different manner, in a more efficient manner, or one that reduces the price or the pain or the time that it takes to get the result that you want, which will solve your problem, correct? So an insight is most people try to invent new demand, which is a blue ocean, but the purple ocean starts with tired demand that people have tried to solve and failed. The lighthouse offer is able to resolve a red ocean demanded pain with a blue ocean novelty. The next part is pinpointing the tried and failed beliefs, which is called belief fracture mapping. So what we do is we pinpoint the tried and failed beliefs that people already have. We ask ourselves, what has my audience already tried and become jaded by? For me, for example, have they already tried ads? Did they suck at it? Did it not convert for them? Have they already tried content? Did it get no views? Could they not convert with their content at all? Most importantly, right? List all the common methods, all the tools, all the systems that people have gone through. If you're let's say you're a mindset coach, have people already tried, let's say, a Notion document or journaling? Did that not work for them? What can you do, and what can you find out that these people have already tried, the beliefs that they've already held within themselves that you can absolutely break? So, and this is where the emotional re-entry point is, because people buy emotionally, right? People don't need to be convinced of the problem because they already know they have one. They need to believe that this time working with you will be completely different. And another example that really comes into my head is that people go back with their exes, believing that every time they go back with their ex, I don't know, maybe they're broken up 2, 3, 4 times, and they go back to their ex the next time, and again, because they believe that that person will be different. But what often happens is that the same thing happens. Obviously, in this case, we're actually going to come up with a new solution which can actually solve someone's problem. But do you see the human psychology and how we think? We believe that people will be different purely from the words that they say, but when it comes to the actions, it might be completely different. However, our actions will be contrary to what I just said, because we will actually give someone the proper solution. So the next thing is the Trojan framework. We introduce a familiar format with a novel twist, right? We take a recognizable mechanism, for example, for me, DMs, content automations, and we wrap it in a new name, a new narrative, or a new combo. For example, the silent sniper, which we use instead of cold DMs, which actually pinpoints the exact leads which come from other people's followers, which come from other people's ads and content. They spend time to actually accumulate that we silently snipe and we steal them. Okay, people don't buy new, they buy what feels new, the thought of feeling new, to re-engage their hope without triggering skepticism. Does that make sense? And then the fourth one is the mechanism modulation. So you package your mechanism as a system, not as a service, okay? Not as a generic service that anyone can just see, and essentially it would just be a commodity, right? We build a named visual step-by-step process, for example, with the conversion core, whether it's 3 or 4 parts, and we position it as a repeatable, productized transformation, not just your time or expertise. Because the Purple Ocean offer is more valuable because they seem engineered, like a secret blueprint rather than just trying something else. Our Lighthouse offer will pinpoint the exact leads that we need to and give them the mechanism that will target these massive whale leads and silently snipe them. And then finally, once we figure out what our mechanism is, we've actually productized it and we made it a name, then we have to understand the communication of it, our marketing, okay? I like to do 80% of my marketing and 20% of my selling, if not 90-10, okay? So Trojan copywriting, we use their words, not your logic. We copy should reflect the past frustrations and current desires that someone has. And I know you understand this. I know that you understand the phrases that we've mentioned many times before. If you tried X and you felt Y, this is for you. And this isn't another method, and you label what they distrust, and then you put down what is different. And this is your new novel mechanism. And inside the Purple Ocean marketing is emotional first, logical second. Belief resurrection is more powerful than education. Because realistically, right, when it comes to innovation, 100% innovate. And if you can do that, that's absolutely amazing. What I am saying is when we are creating a blue ocean within a red ocean, you have to first focus on the client's results. You genuinely have to get someone that result and believe that you can. Because if you can't, and you can't make it as easy as possible for them, and the outcome obviously being something that they actually want, then people don't want your offer because the demand is there, the pain is already there. Because the way that we market our offer is just as important as getting them the result. Because if you can't use the Trojan framework and figure out what your twist will be, then your offer will blend into the market. It'll be the same as everyone else. Not only does your fulfillment have to be exceptional to obviously get them the result, because if you don't prioritize client results, then you are a bloody scammer, and I absolutely despise you. Not in a hateful way, but in just a very unethical manner. So when you're creating a blue ocean offer, you have to first prioritize client results. And this is my number one thing. You always prioritize client results. The marketing, which is what we're doing using the Trojan horse step, is changing the name of it, but also reducing the need for anyone to see, not only visually, but also audibly, that when you say it, it sounds novel. It sounds completely different from what they've ever heard before. And this is how we create the Lighthouse offer. Just a quick one for you guys. That's all I have for you today. Ciao, ciao.